So, first question, did you guys see the first version of the movie 10 years ago? And if you did, how does this compare?
I didn't see it 10 years ago. I only saw
it. Was that even alive? I was like 4.
5 years old. You saw the movie.
Imagine. That's
went totally over your head. No, I only saw the original after exploring this film. I read the script, and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, I saw the original. That was so terrifying. It was like the worst, as in the best, most horrifying movie that stuck with her." So I went and watched it and saw why. And that's encouraging, I think, to know that a movie that has these elements has such an effect on an audience, and it's so well loved. So I think that's part of what got me so intrigued on this. Is like, okay, I can see that this movie could do really well. And then I realized what's different about this, for me, actually makes it even a more enjoyable movie, and the fact that there's more lightness and it's a little more fun than the original, and the use of music and the 80s style, everything about it, I think is just, I wouldn't say better than the original, but
I think
better than the original. I don't know.
I had never seen the movie. I read the script. Fell in love with the script, and then I was like, okay, now I have to see the original. Watched the original 2 times the same night.
Oh wow, you're a sucker for punishment.
I was so drawn. I thought it was so smart. And after just reading the script and then going towards it, I wanted to really try and figure out stuff. But I loved it. I watched it a couple more times before filming begun. But I think what's different for me, what stands out from the original to this is that the killers are the same. Their intentions are the same. They are strangers, except in this film you see us fight back. You see the prey try to do everything they can to escape the situation. They are scared, they are trembling, but they are doing what they can to stay alive. And to me, that's a really fun experience to try and embark on a new journey of the strangers.
And can you tell us a little bit about the shooting process for the movie?
What was the process? It was all night shoots. The first week we shot some day stuff, which was pretty much the beginning of the movie when the family's getting together and they're driving off into this location. And then after that, it was all night shoots. So it was quite brutal,
It's from we'd get there at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'd get home, long after the sun. It wasn't even like the moment the sun broke, and then by the time you clean yourself up and you get in the trailer, you're in bed at 9 a.m. watching the morning news when everyone's sipping their coffee, and that was something that was fun. But yeah, it was just a really collaborative and fresh, exhausting in a
it was exhausting. There's something really disorienting about shooting at night because your whole biorhythms are off. But I think when you're doing a movie like this, it actually adds to that inner sense of feeling that the situation's wrong, because obviously the characters are pretty terrified. So I think it actually helps with performance as well. So.
And Martin, this is for you. You've been chased by many villains throughout time. What is
throughout all of time?
Throughout all of time. Pick your favorite: Samara from The Ring, Britney Spears from the Toxic music video, or The Strangers.
What you want me to pick my favorite?
Pick your favorite. Who is scariest, maybe?
Oh, Britney Spears for sure. She's terrifying. No, I'm only saying that because it's funny. She was lovely. She really was one of the coolest people I'd ever met. But I'm the villain in that movie, really.
Right.
So I kind of like that.
And just name a few, for both of you, name a few of your favorite horror films. What are some other ones that you love?
The Shining.
Yeah, I still, my favorite horror movie was the one, When a Stranger Calls.
Yeah,
have you seen this?
No, but I want to.
It's just terrifying because the idea that the killer's right there in the house the whole time.
I also like, I like The Purge.
Purge?
It's like that was my first true horror experience, was The Purge. It was like a dine-in theater. I threw my popcorn shrimp everywhere.
But this movie kind of reminds me of those old sort of, Friday the 13th kind of, there's something, those slasher movies of that era, and I think there's something fun and sort of retro about this film, how it harkens back to that kind of period of
I think that,
horror films.
And it goes to show how fun it's going to be for people that grew up on the 80s music and who grew up with that kind of storytelling and this type of horror. But for people like me who have so much horror being thrown in their face all the time, but has yet to find a movie like this that really does homages to what was known and what was celebrated in the horror world, and getting to introduce this generation to that and show them what the filmmaking process and the experience in a movie theater was like watching a film like this. I think it's going to be fun. I know it was fun for me to get to watch, and I'm excited for my generation to get to experience that as well.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
You're going to be to blame for ushering a whole generation into horror.
All my teens.